Everything is fine here on Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. I'm Mike, joined by Dustin, and happy 2-year anniversary from when our first episode went live or launched. Yeah, because we didn't do live broadcasts back then. So 2 years since our first episode launched on August 10th, 2021. How you doing, Dustin?
I am doing phenomenal. Yeah, 2 years has flown by, so much so that we thought it was 3 years. But
yes, I did miss.
It also took like 3 years to get our equipment. So,
so 6 years we've been going about doing that. No,
even though we could have started, much sooner,
right?
We could just use iPhones and stuff, right? But I do think the audio quality is important because if you have shitty audio quality, then people will tune you out pretty quick and stop listening to you.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that with podcasts before, and it's tough to listen when it's really crackly or, the audio is just not great. But yeah, it sure has flown by. Yeah, I think I misspoke on our last episode. I was like, 3 years, because I was thinking we're on season 3. So I just, for some reason, was like, oh yeah, we've been doing it for 3 years. No, because our first season was only a couple months long because we changed the seasons at the new year. So it's been 2 years. What have you learned in those 2 years, Dustin, as being a not yet professional podcaster?
Yeah, I definitely learned that kids will take a lot of your time.
I'm learning that more recently.
I mean, I guess, we all knew that going into it, right? I mean, I don't think we just had kids and we're like, I can't believe how crazy
it's hard to find time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's, more or less the main reason why it's been hard recently to get everyone together. I know Greg has 2 kids now. Dustin, your second is on the way. Zach's got his kid, and then I have my kid. So it's a challenge, to say the least. And I did mention on it was just me last week talking, and Dustin, just to fill you in, I did announce that we have been talking about bringing on another person if anyone's interested. I know I spoke of a mutual friend that we have, but he just wasn't able to do it. So if any of you listeners out there, if you're passionate about Star Wars, if you've got an interest in talking about it and podcasting about it, let us know. Come be part of the crew. And hey, if you've got some tech skills like video editing or sound editing or, any of that, that's an extra benefit because that helps me with the editing stuff. But really, you just need to have a passion for Star Wars and want to talk about it. So there's that plug. And also, we're live. So bring us your comments, questions, ideas, theories, everything, anything. I know it's still kind of a slow time in Star Wars, but we're only 13 days away from the next big thing coming out, which is Ahsoka, which obviously everyone knows about. August 23rd, 2 episodes will drop. We're going on the Wednesdays again for those airings. So looking forward to watching those and then bringing our opinions to everyone out there. What are you most looking forward to, Dustin, about the Ahsoka show?
I think having, it being, I guess, Rebels season
5, essentially.
Having that storytelling in the universe, because Rebels itself was so good. And I think seeing Ahsoka, develop into more the badass that she is, continuing that live action Thrawn, I'm super pumped.
Especially from all the books, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. The books really are great because you get to see Thrawn in a different element, where you're actually rooting for him.
Yeah, he's not the bad guy.
Yeah, and I just find that concept of bad guy very interesting, more and more so in Star Wars, right?
It is subjective, right? Matter of opinion, perspective.
Well, like if you think about it, like think about like if you're a planet like in the mid rim right? And now you're protected from the outer rim issues, right? And now you have stability within your, life and things like that. I mean, not everywhere is oppression going on, right?
Right.
So I think reading those Thrawn books and a lot of the Star Wars books, you see where the Empire people are pretty much doing their job, right? Not all of them are evil. They're just, going to work like all of us. I mean, how many of us probably work for really shitty companies that like, at the very top do really horrible things? Probably all of us, right? I mean, but we're just going about our day, our normal life.
Dare I
trying to
say
survive the galaxy.
Disney? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't say that.
Oh,
Haha, I'll kick your ass, motherfucker.
that makes have you seen that South Park episode?
Of course I have. This is what I'm quoting. You didn't know. I've been quoting this the entire time.
I just thought you were quoting just Mickey Mouse in general.
You don't fuck with Disney.
Yeah. So great.
Yeah, so I mean, I that's what I'm excited to see, Thrawn, because I don't think we're going to see that so much in the Ahsoka series, where they're going to make the Empire seem, I guess not as evil as they normally portray it. But I'm a little concerned with the two, almost like mercenaries.
Yeah.
They're not Sith, right? But they're not
No.
Jedi. Certainly not Jedi. I don't know. I'm just a little worried about that. The whole mercenary concept, I think, is cheap for me, but an interesting concept. So we'll see how they execute it.
Yeah, and I have to believe, I think that could be like a bait and switch type of a thing, because they're not going to be the main baddies. They're probably going to be like a season 1 type of a thing, if there are more than one season, because Thrawn is going to be the main baddie, right?
Yeah.
Thrawn and the emergence of him with the Empire again, because I mean, we've already been introduced with Moff Gideon's potential connection with Thrawn, or at least they had that what is that council where the people within the council were talking about Thrawn, and from the Mandalorian season 3 season,
It's like the Dark Council or something like
yes,
that.
something like that. And they were speaking, we just can't reveal his whereabouts because the secrecy of it is, of the utmost importance in the success. So I think that's going to be the more baddie. So maybe these two Dark Force wielders are going to be just kind of a bait and switch, or a divergence from the actual conflict that's coming. Hopefully. Well, not hopefully. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. What, these mercenaries, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But I to your point, I think that's kind of what I'm most excited for, is just the continuation of Rebels, because that's really what it seems like it's going to be. And I'm curious to see the elements they plug in from like Heir of the Empire. Have you read that book? No.
I didn't get so much into like the legacy stuff that
Sure.
that happened around the. I always wanted to read about the Old Republic or
Yeah.
the Sith Lords. Yeah, so I didn't get to read it. I should probably just get it on audiobook and just.
Yeah, I know
I
it
got
was
a couple more Dune books to get through.
It's that original Thrawn trilogy. It was probably the most successful expanded universe novel, at the early stages of the expanded universe, because that's kind of what pulled everyone in, was that trilogy. And Timothy Zahn, I mean, of course, he's a great writer. So I haven't read it, but my goal is I want to listen to the audiobook before Ahsoka comes out, because they even name drop Heir of the Empire in the trailers. So there's going to be some kind of connecting elements. It can't be the exact same story, because obviously what's coming out, or what has already been released in terms of canon, just doesn't align with the storyline of the book. So we'll just have to see what connects there. But I think it's a great nod to Timothy Zahn, though, and what he's done with Thrawn. And I mean, he's part of the success of why Thrawn is in Star Wars now, because I don't think Thrawn's in Rebels if those books weren't successful. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to having more Star Wars content too. It's been a little bit of a lull, but I think that's good. I think we were getting a lot of stuff
Yeah.
in a short period of time.
Yeah, not all of which was what I would call high quality.
Right.
So I mean everything I've seen, I'm very excited for.
In terms of quality for the show,
Yeah, and like the commercial or not the
trailers and
that
stuff.
have got me excited. And
Do you think there'll be more than one season?
if it's successful enough, absolutely.
Yeah. I think even if it's not, I bet there would be at least 2 seasons. It just seems like something that wouldn't stop, or that would stop at 1 season. I just don't feel that. Plus this is like Filoni's child, you know. I mean, he with his works with the animation of Clone Wars and Rebels, and now he's kind of getting his true first lead for a live action series. And this is outside of what Timothy Zahn has done. This is a product of his own creations. So Ahsoka, Sabine, Kiara, all that's all him. So he's going to want more than 1 season. Also, there's some interesting news released by Bob Iger with some plans with Disney Plus prices. Have you heard about this?
I think a lot of people are pissed off at Iger because I think he was the executive who said something to the fact, because they're striking at the
Yep.
I think he said something to the effect of basically like we'll starve out the families or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, so they keep this is speculation on my part, but I'm just connecting dots where one of the high-end executives in the film industry had said something like that, like, we'll just wait till they can't pay their mortgages and can't pay their grocery bills, is kind of what they said.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they're in terms of like price increases, they're going to keep with these prices until.
No. He was saying that about the actors, right? Because they're striking.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he was saying like, we're gonna, I mean, he's basically saying we have more deep pockets. We have deeper pockets than they do.
They can outlast the actors and actresses that are.
Yeah. And again, I don't know that for sure, but that's the speculation, I think, and where the dots have pointed. So, that's a pretty rotten thing to say. And it doesn't surprise me at all that a high level executive would say something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely want to see what would you call that? Like the transcripts of the interview or whatever, or.
Well, it wasn't an interview.
Okay.
It was something that was reported, what was said in one of the executive meetings.
Oh, okay.
He didn't
So
give it, I mean, he would never probably say that, in front of a microphone.
So it was, I heard that he said through another source.
Yeah, but I think there was more reporting going on. And again, that's why I'm saying,
yeah, right.
This is not a fact. It's just
right. But you said it like it doesn't surprise you. So
yeah, they don't even know if it's Iger.
Right.
I'm just connecting the dots.
Yeah. And that makes, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either if an exec said that, but it also could be just, again, this is why context is important. Like someone could have just been like, oh, how long do you think this thing will last? And they could have been like, I don't know. It's tough to say, but I know that, we can probably outlast them because, we have deeper pockets one way or another. Now, if they said we can starve them out, that's a different story. That's a little harsh. You don't want to say that, but
yeah,
interesting nonetheless. But they're going to be increasing the Disney Plus price. So they will move its monthly ad-free plan to $13.99 a month, which is just under $140 a year, starting October 12th in the US. So that's like right after the Ahsoka show wraps up. The ad tier will remain the same at $7.99 a month, no annual plan. Canada and several countries in Europe will have the ad-supported tier option starting November 1st, with prices set at $7.99 a month in Canada and £4.99 and then €5.99 a month across the Atlantic. And then there is going to be an ad-free edition and Hulu bundle starting September 6th for $19.99 a month. So there's, I know they've been talking about, they're trying to find ways to cut spending at the same time as bring more quality content. But it looks like part of the plan too is to go after our pocketbooks, which is no different than anything else it's like college is always like, oh, well, we'll increase tuition costs, It's always an easy.
I'm not defending the streamer giants. It does feel like, when you go from $17.99 to $19.99, even though percentage wise, that's a pretty huge jump. When it's cable and you're paying like $140 and then all of a sudden you're paying $160, that feels like a bigger jump, even though it's actually less of a percentage jump, right?
Right.
But
go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I can't remember if you and I talked about this, but I feel like one of the unanticipated consequences of this strike is that they're going to find out that these streaming giants aren't really making the money that they think they are. And that's why think about if you're an actor and you have these streamers pumping out a bunch of stuff, right? A bunch of content, right? Doesn't matter if it's good or not. You have a job, you're getting paid.
Yep.
Well, if they find out that A, these streaming giants aren't really all that profitable, and B, well, I guess the consequence of that is now the conversation is what Bob Iger is saying is we're going to cut back on content and try to up the quality. Well, that's taking jobs away from the industry. And that's an unintended consequence, I think, of this, which is unfortunate. And, the rally is just like this. It's just like this, man. Anytime, like any sports league, there's a lockout or a strike or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yep.
It's not the $1 billion. It's not first of all, I can't believe any fan sides with the streaming giants in this case, or the owners. Like, this happens so often. You see it so often where the fans are siding with the people that are absolutely not in touch with them. Now, not that the athletes are, but like the billionaires are who you're going to side with. It's so psychologically effed up, in my opinion. But it's not the Mookie Betts, it's not the Tom Cruises, it's not the Bob Odenkirks that are suffering from. Did you? What? That's a sweet reference. He's making a lot of money. He's in a lot of things now.
I know. It's just you. The first two, and then the next one that just made me laugh.
Well, there's a reason for that. One of the sports radio shows I listen to is comparing the Cardinals front office to Slippy Jimmy McGill. You know who that is?
I've heard of. I do know this, but I'm totally spacing on it.
It's Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Yep.
So, that's his name, Jimmy McGill. Slippin' Jimmy or something like that, because he gets out a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's why I thought of Bob Odenkirk off the top of my head. But it's not those people that are suffering, right? It's the production people. It's the actors that aren't, and just like the necessary actors that, and it's the same in sports, right? It's the vendors who aren't getting paid because there's no games because there's a strike. It's the people in the front office that are like data analysts and things like that.
Well, and I think there's always should be a happy medium. Like, I don't try to look at it as like what side is right versus what side is wrong, because there's always two sides to every coin. Like, those companies also employ, like Disney employs a lot of people, and they want to keep, their employees as well, which is also more jobs, more paychecks, food on people's tables. And if they don't get the revenue they need, then those people lose out as well. So I think there is a happy medium, and I think that's what should always be strived for. Is that right? Strived for. So I don't like strikes or holdouts in the first place, because no one wins when there's strikes and holdouts. Everyone's impacted. So if just resolution can be achieved quicker. That works out for both platforms. And I think, to your point, if you're cutting quantity and investing in quality, there's going to be less jobs for the actors. But at the same time, having these streaming services opened another venue for actors and actresses to find more jobs. So the other end is also like there's no streaming services, and then none of these actors and actresses get these extra show employment jobs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I do. I just think that genie is never going back in the bottle.
Yeah, it would be tough.
And it was always going to happen. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't necessarily think that's a solid argument, because again, it was always, I mean, there was always going to be something like streaming, it was just the natural progression.
I don't know. I mean, that I would think that people always thought there'd be some kind of like cable TV
It still is, right?
or movies in theaters. Well, there
There
is,
are.
but there's
And there's a resurgence.
been a large decrease in those productions.
I don't know, man. I mean, you look at like The Weekend with Barbenheimer, and that was like theater at its best.
Yeah, but
I want to see Oppenheimer so bad. By the way, last
oh
week,
yeah, I want to see that.
last weekend, I spent my Friday evening after the wife and kid went to bed watching Guardians 3.
Mhm.
Excellent, 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 excellent. I loved it. It was so much fun and emotional. And
Wait,
it's
Guardians of the
literally-
Galaxy or
yeah, the third one.
okay, yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I really want to see it.
It's on Disney.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten to watching it.
I can't say enough good things, man. I loved it.
Yeah, and I think Chris Pratt has one more movie in his contract, so don't give
Well,
anything away.
I'm
Don't
not
give
gonna give
anything.
anything away, but it's pretty.
It's probably an Avengers movie that he'll show up in.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm okay with like it being done. Like
Yeah,
I think we've gotten enough out of it, and something new can happen.
Yeah.
know?
yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I mean, I'm going to be really bummed when Stranger Things is over. But
Yeah, it's last season coming up, right?
yeah, but at the same time, it's run its course, and that's just the way of life.
Yeah. But just going back to like streaming services and movie theaters, I saw something that was talking about how much the number of comedy movies has decreased because the juice just isn't worth the squeeze anymore in terms of
Yeah, you heard that from
movie
Adam
theaters.
Levine.
Was that who it was?
Yeah, so Adam Levine, he's the guy on Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah,
He was in Workaholics.
Workaholics. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So
but
he said that, and he actually, it's funny because he did an interview in Vanity Fair, right? And of course, these magazines, they have to post like something that's controversial, and so they, they posted this quote that something like he doesn't like Marvel movies, right? And then he comes out on Twitter and says, "No, I love Marvel movies. That's not what I said.
yeah,
I said it's just, everyone expects like that Marvel movie blockbuster magic, and like you said, it's not worth it to make these mid-level comedies." He's like, "That's what I miss." So
Yeah.
that was his full quote, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were.
yeah. So that's an outlet that streaming services has been able to open for comedians, because I feel like a lot of shows and everything, there's a lot more focus. Well, there's a lot more need for that niche genre when it comes to streaming services. Like a lot of the shows that I watch, whether it's like, even if it's Family Guy or South Park, like I'm usually watching it through streaming services versus cable TV.
Who I feel bad for in all this are the writers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's funny, we love to blame the writers for like shitty shows. Let's say like the new Lord of the Rings show, right? Or Halo.
Or a lot of the Marvel streaming shows.
Yeah. It's really the executives who approve that and probably push the garbage anyway, Like I can guarantee you that the Halo show that him taking his helmet off was not the writers saying they should do that. It's
Right.
it's the advertisers and the executives saying, well, we need to see his face so we can market this guy,
Yep. Well,
But the
and
writing was awful. Like, I mean, but I just feel bad for them because they do all the work. All these actors do is, and I'm not saying it's not hard work, right? Because they do, I can't imagine like playing a serial killer and having to, but at the same time, they just have to deliver the lines.
Yeah.
The writers are the ones who have to write them and come up with them.
Well, and to that point, I don't think writers have the same freedom that they used to have.
Certainly.
Because I think because they represent a larger company and how reactive audiences are these days and how fast things can get out, I think the companies keep them in a narrow path and they don't want them to stray too far because then something bad happens and then ratings go plummeting down and now they're not making money. So I think that is part of what we're seeing too, which is unfortunate. Like I just hope someday we can get back to the point. I mean, it's important to be respectful. It's important to be kind and, inclusive and all that stuff. But at the same time, like, it's important to have that freedom to write what someone wants because it's their opinion. Like, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. There's a fable, an old fable out there, and it's like the child, the old man, and the donkey. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. You can search it in Google and there'll be all different versions of it. But like the message from that fable, which is as old as time, is that if you try to please everyone, you please no one. And I think that's what we're forgetting. Like, you don't have to please everyone. I mean, just make good quality stuff and you'll get people that like it. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that. Give the writers the freedom back.
I thought you were going to tell us a joke.
No, I'll let you do
Old
that.
Man and the donkey.
Baby old man and the donkey. It's a good fable. It's a child's fable. Look it up.
Look it up.
Yeah, we don't really have anything else. Like I said, again, I feel like we're a broken record. There just isn't much coming out in terms of Star Wars outside of the Ahsoka show. Once that comes, things will be picking up. I do think it's pretty cool though, going back to the 2-year anniversary. So after 2 years of content, our first episode ever is still the #1 episode we have on podcast platforms. So it's still numero uno, but it's #3 when it comes to YouTube videos. So our #1 video is season 3, episode 14, Ahsoka trailer reaction. And then #2 is season 3, episode 26, which was the more recent Ahsoka trailer reaction. So a lot of hype, a lot of interest in the Ahsoka show. Trailer reactions tend to do a lot better in terms of viewings and ratings because people want to see the actual. I mean, it's not just to see us; it's just to watch the trailer as well. So, but I mean, it's easier to get those clicks when you have something like Ahsoka trailer with the title of the content. So
I love, like, speaking of that, like like the reaction to the reaction videos. Like, how many reactions do we have to go down the chain?
Right.
Like, oh my God, it's a reaction to the reaction to the reaction to the original video of the reaction. I'm like, what?
Reaction inception.
Yeah. Jinx.
Yeah. I love though when the people, they'll go out and they'll pull all these different reaction videos for the same trailer and they'll put them all like little square windows of each person's reaction and you're watching the whole thing at the same time, like everyone react at the same time. That's pretty cool, especially with the Star Wars stuff, because Star Wars fans are so passionate about trailers and everything that they get really excited. And
yeah,
it's kind of fun to see. But I just saw this, which made me remember. Look what glass I'm drinking out of.
Hey, yeah. That's
See,
you don't see
now
the
that I'm a
joke.
dad, I can drink out of it.
It's like you're never off duty.
No,
Duty.
Duty.
You're gonna deal with a lot of duty.
I do deal with a lot of duty, especially with a child that's has a dairy intolerance. Oh my gosh.
It starts to stink though, like when they get older and they start eating real food.
Yeah, when they get that fiber in that diet, that's what
I don't stink when they're like little babies, right? But
I mean, they don't smell good, but it doesn't smell terrible.
Yeah, wait, you wait, it'll knock you on your ass.
Oh, I know. We had dinner with some people at their house, and they have 2 children, and one was born like 2 weeks after Jackson was born. And I changed the diaper in their nursery, and I threw it the diaper away in their diaper pail, and their older child still wears diapers, and the smell of the shit in there was just so bad. It's like, oh my gosh, this is coming out in one of the bedrooms or the nursery in there, and I'm not looking forward to the stinky poops. But it's a fun experience either way, right? Getting pooped on, so much fun.
With a boy, you get peed on a lot too.
That squirt gun, man. It can go off anytime.
Please be a girl. Come on.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up for today. Anything else you want to speak to, Dustin, or anything on the
Just
top
what,
of your mind?
like less than 2 weeks, right? Then it's
Yeah.
on the 13th. So we're
2
recording
weeks
this
from
on
yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're recording on a Thursday today. I wanted to do that just because it fell on the anniversary. We'll probably get back to the Wednesdays next week. And then, of course, when the episodes come out, we'll be coming to talk to you guys on Wednesdays as well. So looking forward to all of that. Looking forward to Star Wars shows coming back again. And I'm going to rewatch as much as I can of Rebels before this comes out. I'll have it on the background while I'm working or something and get all caught up for season 5 of Rebels, more or less.
I do have a recommendation on Apple TV Plus. There's a show called Foundation that's really, really good.
Okay.
It's based on a book. I forget the author, but Sci-Fi, really great. The actor who plays Roland in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Roland, the blue guy with the big
blue
hammer?
guy. Yeah, I liked him. Yeah,
phenomenal. And he's in this. And he's even better. I mean, I actually am bummed when he's not in like certain episodes.
Okay. And I saw that development just started, or they've announced development for another Yellowstone spinoff show, 1944. Which
we just started 1923. Well, we just watched the first episode. So much better than the actual show, ironically. You know,
better than Yellowstone or better than?
No, okay. So 1823, the first.
That was my favorite. I like that one.
Phenomenal, like masterpiece of cinema. Television. But 1903 started off on a really good foot. 1923 has so much better than the actual show Yellowstone. Like there's actually logic in the show, which is kind of fun, right? You know, like you shoot up a Montana town and there's no one's asking questions, right? Well, you're the livestock commissioner, so I guess that means that you can get away with murder. Yeah,
we really like 1923. I loved all 3 of those shows. I loved 1883 the most. I think 1923 is just right behind that, right behind it. It's
so far so great. We just finished the first episode, so we got a long way to go, but it was lovely. Good.
Well, you'll enjoy this one as well. So just to speak to our social media handles, so you can find us on Twitter at DetBlock AA23pod, on Instagram at detention_block_AA_23, and then our Facebook group and YouTube channel is Detention Block AA23, a Star Wars podcast. Bring us your likes, follows, subscriptions, downloads, comments, reviews, everything, all of it. We greatly appreciate it, and it really goes a long way in getting our podcast name out there amongst all the thousands of Star Wars podcasts. So with that, we will wrap this up. thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and look forward to that Ahsoka show, and get your pocketbooks ready for price increases of Disney Plus. Until next time. Oh, and we also forgot to say, we sported our shirts for.
Mine is so like faded. I should probably get a new one.
Mine's a little
I mean, if
faded.
we're not a cast member, then I should probably wait.
We'll have to update our logo maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't have Zach in here because
Yeah, we got to get Zach
he's
in
not
there.
consistent enough, you know. Maybe over 50% of the episodes.
Maybe he's holding out because he's waiting until he's actually on the logo.
If he is on the logo, then yeah, we're gonna make him show up more.
He's coming back.
He's jacked, man.
Ooh, it sounds like a little man crush coming out right now.
Yeah, dude, he's in very good shape. So,
well, and he texted us last week telling us that, you know, he's just super busy. He was looking to hopefully join us this week. I didn't hear back from him, so hopefully next week he'll be able to. I'm sure he'll join once Ahsoka comes along. So
sure. Yeah, you betcha.
Oh yeah, you betcha. But until then, we'll talk to you guys next time. And as always, may the force be with you.
And also Team Canada.
Yeah.
My bracket's so messed up.
For the World Cup?
Yeah, so we picked
brackets. Isn't Canada out?
Are they?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't even think they made it to the round of 16. Canada and Germany were.
Oh, no. Not Canada. Britain.
Oh, yeah. They're still in it. They're still in England. England's still in it.
Britain. I'll have to check my bracket. It's not Canada. I didn't pick Canada.
Our friends across the pond.
Yeah. I think I picked Britain. Yep.
How about the U.S. early exit?
I need them to win.
How about the early exit for the U.S.?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, they came in cocky and lost them.
Yeah, I agree with Carly Lloyd's comments. I mean, if you just watch the ads that were playing during the whole thing, like it was talking about don't fear the U.S., how scary they are, how they're going to roll over everyone. Nope. Sorry. Arrogance is the name of that team. But hopefully they'll turn things around. Yep. So, well, with that, bye, everyone.
Bye.